back to my YouTube channel. If you're coming across this video, my name is Nicole. I'm a vintage-inspired lifestyle creator, and I live in New York City. Today's video is going to be the next in my series about where to vintage shop in New York City by neighborhood. In today's video, we're going to be checking out 3 different neighborhoods: Dumbo, Park Slope, and Carroll Gardens. This video is also a little bit different because I've included 2 of my favorite vintage-inspired places to eat when I'm in these areas, so hopefully you can use this video like a little itinerary if you're looking to make a day out of it. So with that, let's start the video. To start the day, I took the ferry from Manhattan and then headed over to the Brooklyn Flea. This is an outdoor market in Dumbo which is open from April to December. They have different vendors selling clothes, accessories, jewelry, gadgets, knickknacks, and more. Some of the vendors are also small local artists as well. Sometimes the clothes can be a bit pricey, but I have found some great pieces here over the years. It's also great for finding fun mementos and tchotchkes or even just to browse. After the Flea, I walked over to Park Slope, which took about 40 minutes, but you can also hop on the subway too. My first stop here was Leif Boutique Thrift. This is a pretty standard thrift store with a mix of vintage and modern. They have great prices, but it's also nicely curated for a thrift store. They carry clothes, shoes, books, home goods, and more. Keep in mind they are closed on Saturdays. Right across the street is Slope Vintage. They only carry clothes and accessories, and it's a mix of vintage and modern. They typically keep the racks of vintage separate, and the vintage does tend to be a bit more expensive. I was so excited when I found this vintage cardigan for $20, but then I realized it was missing 2 of the buttons, so I decided to pass on it. On the same street is also Beacon's Closet, which I've shared 2 of their other locations in my other vintage shopping videos. I would say this location is the most disorganized of them all, but once you dig, you can really find some gems. I tried on a ton of things this day. Here are just a few that I liked but sadly didn't fit. I was so sad this dress didn't fit because it was giving Megan Draper Zooby Zooby Zoo vibes. I also loved this one, but the sleeve openings were so small I couldn't even get my wrist through. I did end up buying a few things here, which I'll show you later in the video. While in Park Slope, I also stopped to get lunch at Harlem Shake, which is a burger place with retro vibes. I often eat here when I'm vintage shopping in this neighborhood. They also have a veggie burger, which is what I ordered, and an Impossible burger if you're a vegetarian like me. From Park Slope, I walked over to Carroll Gardens, which is about a 20-minute walk. The first stop here is Unearth Vintage. They used to have a location in Williamsburg, but during the pandemic, they moved to this area. It started as a pop-up and now is a permanent store. They sell mostly clothes, shoes, and accessories, but they do have a few home items and knickknacks as well. The decades they carry are primarily 80s, 90s, and Y2K, but you can definitely find earlier decades here as well, and their prices are super fair. Next in Carroll Gardens, I headed to Yesterday's News. They do have a small room of vintage clothing, but they mostly have home items, books, jewelry, and lots of knickknacks and collectibles. One of my favorite things to come here for is their big bucket of vintage photos, as I use these to junk journal with. And lastly, I ended my day at Brooklyn Pharmacy, which is an old school style soda fountain. The interior was an apothecary that dates back to the early 1900s, and in 2010 is reopened to the soda fountain we see today. They serve ice cream, milkshakes, sodas, floats, and hot chocolate. Everything is delicious and the vibes are so cozy and nostalgic, so definitely a must-do when you're in the neighborhood. Okay, so let's check out what I found. The first thing I got was this watch at the Brooklyn Flea. I had been looking for just kind of a simple, vintage, thin strap black watch I could wear every day. This one was $10. The vendor had a deal where it was 1 for $10 or 3 for $25, so it was super cheap. I also got this bow pin at the Brooklyn Flea. It was only $5 and I thought it was super cute. I also got this original camera manual for the Canon AE1 program. I just got my first film camera and this is the camera I bought. I did find the manual online in a PDF version, but I was having a hard time reading it on my phone, so I thought it would just be much easier to buy this and read through it so I can learn more about the camera. And this was $10. So overall at the Flea, I spent $25 on those 3 things, which is a really good deal because sometimes the Brooklyn Flea can get a little bit pricey. Next, I got this vintage 80s sweater from Beacon's Closet. I love the bows and they're one of my signatures, and I thought this would be super cute for the upcoming holiday season, and this sweater was $20. I also found this kind of 70s does 40s wrap dress at Beacon's Closet. I thought the polka dots were super cute. Again, one of my signatures. And this was $25. I definitely do not need another black and white polka dot dress because I already have 4 of these that look very similar. But I thought this one was so cute and would be good, you know, just kind of for work or every day. I also found this at Beacon's Closet. It's actually not vintage, it's new. It's from And Other Stories. And this one was $23. But yeah, you can never have too many polka dot dresses, right? And lastly, I got this red belt at Yesterday's News. I love the red patent leather, and I thought the gold buckle was really cute too, and this was $6. And that's everything I found vintage shopping. I hope you enjoyed this video. I have one more planned for the last neighborhood that I typically frequent in when I go vintage shopping. If there's any neighborhoods you think I should check out, please let me know in the comments. I really appreciate you watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!